problems. What I really worry about is us. Can we get our own act together, our own values, our own capability, our own management?
National sovereignty and global productivity will go to the nation that deploys the intelligent infrastructure enabling Industry 4.0. Encouraging to know the new administration is determined for the United States to lead the world with intelligent infrastructure and autonomy.
For our country to really reach the scale that it can be, for it to be successful, we need to be the leader in the world of 5G and 6G. So
the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build the rebuild the air traffic control system.
Clearly, we need to develop autonomy in significant numbers.
And then the really big one that I think is really going to be revolutionary is the nexus of humans and machines. So figuring out how to optimize the integration of humans and machines. So it's a tech, it's a big, autonomy is kind of the center of gravity of that problem, but not to replace humans with robots.
Is that a national grid, an AI grid has to exist.
Right.
You cannot have an automotive industry if there are no roads.
Totally.
Things that we announced today together is building the AI grid of Japan.
Yeah.
And the AI grid will have AI factories for developing the AI models. It'll have AI RAN to distribute the AI models all over Japan.
Technology where we were figuring out how to roll out the Internet of Things network of the future, right? The 5G network for Internet of Things at scale, autonomous cars and commercial drones and all those kinds of things.
Complicated either. It's a question of do you want to win in this industry? And I think the U.S. really needs to look at this and take a step back and say, listen, China is competing the living hell out of us around the rest of the world. How do we innovate and win? And it's going to be on the tech side. And this high-speed travel is really sort of the core and what the sort of the utility of the industry needs to deliver to folks. And it is how you get GDP growth. I mean, we could get into a whole discussion here. It's how you get GDP growth out of this 2 to 4% band in this discussion we keep getting stuck in. I mean, when China was doing 7 to 8%, it was because they were getting people in cars and they were getting out of two-wheelers and bikes and moving farther and faster. So I think this is a real important thing, not just for the auto industry, but for society at large, that you get people moving farther and faster. And I think
But of course, it would make more sense for this to be done nationally. And so it'd be great if they stepped in. There's a lot. I'd always been a big proponent of open source in this area. There's a lot of stuff that could be beneficial from a safety standpoint if everyone were doing it the exact same way. And I could even imagine a communication network. The status of a traffic light, for example, there's no need for that to be inferred. I mean, we're going to use how much compute to look at the light and determine whether it's red or green. That's a state machine. It's either red or green, and that can be known. And so you could, as you build these intelligent systems, start to have the state of different things, and which could include, road openings and road closures and construction work that's going on and traffic and all kind of other things that should be built into the system as well. So I do think a national kind of standard could be great.
Country will boom again, and the state of Texas will take the lead because somebody has to provide the leadership. And the state of Texas can do that. Somebody has to lead.
When President Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon, 8 years later, a man was walking on the moon. Now, when someone says we're going to build a bridge, 8 years later, you're still trying to get permits to build the bridge.
9.7 years later on average.
9.7 years on average.
Technically.
And we think it's funny that this takes place. It's a disgrace. And by the way, it doubles the cost, or maybe even triples the cost of the project.